Hey, Holy Hour listeners, this is Gavin, and I'm happy to announce I am officially launching the Patreon page for the show. As the pandemic continues along, I am home with the kiddo, and income is just about at zero. And income going towards the production of this podcast is also at about zero. So, if you think you may want to help out, that would be deeply appreciated. But more importantly, I just want to provide you guys with some bonus content and fun, easier ways to finally interact with the podcast. As rewards, we'll have everything from stickers and mixes to a chance to provide your own radio spot or ad, and even a chance to take over the airwaves and be our program director for an entire episode. All this, and of course, more Cure Chit Chat, bonus Chit Chat. Just go on over to patreon.com/The Holy Hour Podcast and check out those specifics. Of course, no sweat either way. The show's going to continue to roll on, as is. Just a little bit something more if interested. Otherwise, it's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, curational. This is what we call the Holy Hour Podcast. Welcome to the Holy Hour Podcast. It's the bi-weekly All Cure podcast, and welcome back, good people out there, and welcome back, Chaz. How's it going, man?
It's going all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're kicking off a good Monday night here, so we'll be as chatty as we ever are on a Monday night for you guys.
Let me tell you, this year has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It's starting out real good so far.
Oh my
real
God.
Promising. So, I think we made it about 6 days or something. Hard to say when these actually come out, but we've just had our round throwdown Royal Rumble at the in DC just happened there. So that was a nice little wake up call to 2021. Where I was like, well, that was a good run, but we'll see what happens till. Got a couple more weeks before the Civil War officially kicks off, I guess, maybe. But if it all just abruptly ends after this, we'll know something really horrible happened. So we're here to talk about a less stressful topic, and but yeah, this is we'll see. Maybe this will get really intense halfway through. But thanks for joining me, Chaz. It's good to have you on as always. And we're gonna talk about track ones tonight, and we figured we're gonna kick the year off. The whole premise was this was gonna be the first one that we had everybody back, first round with Donald, but he's gonna miss out on this one. But I know the guy well. I think I can speak for him, so I can tell you what he'll feel about all these songs pretty well, I think. But we'll have him back here soon, fear not. And we're gonna lead it off with track ones. We thought it'd be cool to do this in January, and then we'll try if shit doesn't get too crazy, or if we make it to December, we'll do a final tracks or closing tracks one. We can do it in December before the end of the year, and just kind of looking at the Cure in particular. Who, it's no spoiler, they're pretty notoriously awesome for it. I think it's safe to say, for having great lead-off tracks on all their albums. And, what approach they do go for when they do it, because it is a true art to this lead-off track on an album in particular. So, I don't know. I think it's safe to say they're pretty good at it. I think even if you're not a Cure fan, you gotta kind of give them credit there, don't you think? It's even albums that Cure fans aren't like 100% crazy about. Usually the first track is a contender for the best one in their opinions and stuff. So.
Now, do you think that's a band decision, or is that a label decision, or
I guess running order of tracks? Yeah, I mean, I think listening to the Cures in particular, I think it's fairly obvious if you have the batch of songs, there's always just that one that just feels a little more Like this would have to be the. I can't imagine like they had the whole group of songs for Wild Mood Swings, and they're like, let's put Round and Round first. You know, it seems like it would have to go with one. You know, but at the same time, I guess, and we'll get into it with track ones. They always do seem to go where it would be a great, or I guess any band when you're putting your songs together and stuff, like it would be either a great opener or a closer. Sometimes they're pretty interchangeable, you know? So it's like, it's like what you're going for, I guess. And so, yeah, I think it's probably Robert, I would think, has like 90%, you know, maybe back in the peak of like, you know, Chris Perry days and shit. It was more of an argument of like what the running order and the tracks would be and stuff, you know? But I think
I know, like, if you're looking at if you're like looking at the 80s and maybe early 90s, like you kind of have to be mindful of how long side A is going to be and how long side B is going to be. So like you kind of have to divide up like what you want and where you want it. But there
are a lot of factors for sure, more than you would think, you know. And it's but yeah, I would think Robert, that would be something he would probably want a lot of control over. You know, I can't imagine he would be like, you could talk him into, you know, putting something first, you know, and then it just totally throwing the flow of the album off. That seems to be something he's pretty passionate about, is like the whole concept and stuff, even though, you know, he probably considers them all concept albums, but I don't know if he's ever officially like said this is a concept album, you know, like, so.
But I think some of these like are perfect setups for the album, and some of them are just fool's gold. For what is to come. So it's kind of a very tricky situation, like as a fan to be in, but also like it's, you know, they're renowned for putting out that first great song. So you kind of have to, you know, hope grab onto it and hope for the best. So And
as we kind of wanted to kick it off with the idea of just concepts and, you know, approaches in general, not even just The Cure, but like, you know, any band and what you put and look for in an opening track. But I think with The Cure, it's cool that it's usually not a single even, you know, it's like an almost kind of deep track, you know, but it's like, it's, you know, a song that people are very passionate about usually, but at the same time, it's usually not one of the ones that would be considered a single, even, as we'll see in the list there, as most of you out there probably know. But at the same time, you know, it is a little bit surprising when you see them all lined up, you know, of like all the opening tracks. You're like, oh yeah, it's, they're all pretty regular. You can make
a pretty good mix.
Yeah,
you know, a pretty good set list out of all those. So.
Cool, man. Well, I guess before we dive into The Cure specific then in all these songs, we'll kind of just walk through the track listing there of the 13 official albums and their lead-off tracks. I just wanted to ask you, Chaz, as a music fan and stuff, a lot of this we've even talked about on the mix ideas of like, you know, presenting a batch of songs, whether it be in an album or any of that, just the different approaches from bands and stuff. Is there something that you prefer, like, as a listener? Like, do you like, because I've noticed that mostly it does seem to fall, like, if you really boil it down, you either open up with like a single, like just come out of the gates with your potential hit single, or you set the stage with a kind of mood or setting the mood of the album, or an overly epic, even jammy kind of song or something. So it tends to be one or the other, really. But do you have a preference?
I'm not a big fan of the whole single up front. And they didn't really, I mean, they didn't do that too often, but I don't know. I like the single to be somewhere like the third track. I guess like buried in there a little bit, you know. And the first song's got to set the tempo for the rest of the album. Like you gotta, especially if you're doing a concept album. But I mean, if you're just trying to set the tone of what you wanted everybody to jump on for, you gotta hit it out of the park. That first track, either like you said, like the jam session kind of sound, like even leading up to it, it's gotta bring something to the table. Yeah, it's gotta be an exclamation point. Or a slow creep. I can take a slow creep into an album.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I
I'm fine
dig
with
that.
that.
A lot of great albums do that, where it's like,
Yeah.
and it's weird too, like the idea of like, obviously it pairs well with set openers if you're doing your live show.
Yeah.
Usually you pick one of your whatevers. So that kind of goes into the idea from the musician side of it, of a song that kind of eases you in and kind of warms you up while you're playing it. A lot of bands will do that, and it makes more sense like when you're playing live that you don't want to come out blazing with your hit single, of course, because everybody will leave or whatever,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it is like kind of a cool song. You're not going to just get up there and dick her out. I mean, some bands do for like the whatever for the first, 5 minutes or something, but it's usually a good kind of song that gets you into the flow of it. And, and it can kind of double as lead-offs that way too. But, I guess the dilemma is then, like we are saying, if you come out, it usually does tend to be a younger band. Like if you're not as established, then you do stack it with like, it might be the only chance anyone's going to hear your best song. People might not make it past the first one. So you kind of are more at risk.
You cover in there probably.
Yeah. So you gotta so it's scary, especially as like an unside band or something. You're making this album and you want to be epic and like do the art thing and let them lead into it, with like the mysterious song first. But who knows, if you're trying to get a show somewhere, it's more of a demo than an album, then you kind of need to put like your catchy hit, right first song, and it's kind of like, but you run the risk of, just giving it all up and then nothing even like lives up to that song as a threat too. I've got a wall of CDs behind me right now, and like there's way too many of them that are like their best song is the track one, and it just never, not that the rest of the album's even bad necessarily, but a lot of albums just, they never really live up to the cool one song, It's not like a one-hit wonder even, it's just gotta like, they did it. They put it up front and center and that's it,
No, I always like going to a concert and then the big band you're going to see, they open up with their worst track. Yeah, it always puts the crowd in the mood.
Exactly. At least I got that out of the way. All right, that's good.
Can you imagine going to see the Cure play and they pop out with like Wendy Time to start off?
Yeah,
what the fuck wow, okay. What's going on?
Come out blazing with Freak Show or something.
And like each time I've seen the Cure live, that opening. Just that opening track and the opening feel, there's like this, I don't know, magnetism in the air, just like you're drawn to it.
For sure.
So, they have that going for them. I mean,
they almost have too many, like I said, or just like any of them would be like such a cool opener, and it's just like, and then it kind of sucks.
There's so many songs. It's not going to matter.
They're not going to throw plain song in the middle of the set either. So if you don't get it up front, that's kind of always a little sad. You're like, damn, they're not going to play. Some of them, as we get through, can double up. But,
unless they're possibly going to come out like on like an encore, and like do like a small set of like Disintegration or whatever. You kind of you're not going to get, you're either going to get like plain song or Shake Dog Shake. But it's one or the other. But I mean, I'm trying to think of like bands that I've seen like.
Yeah, or even just other albums that you consider your top 5 albums and stuff. Do they tend to fall one or the other, where it's a single or a, slow burn kind of deep fan favorite kind of song? Or?
I mean, I know through the years of like reviewing CDs in the early 2000s, like there were bands that I had like the first song is really good, and like the rest of it is just garbage. I'm trying to remember one off the top of my head. Rock Kills Kid. Yeah. I just remember that because like I put this CD on and like I put it on like, wow, the first song is it's pretty good, like rock song. Yeah. And then as it went on, it progressively got worse, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is terrible.
Sometimes it looks like they're just like stretching it out. They're like, did you make this up just to fill the album out? It's like, so many bands do, this day and age, or just put out the damn EP on iTunes or something, it's like don't do a full album.
Yeah.
But it was funny, I meant to try to dig into that more before this, just to like look up my other favorite albums, just in the few minutes before we called up there. I was like looking at like New Order albums and Replacements albums and stuff, and I was a little surprised that they didn't tend to fall. It's usually not, it wouldn't be like Bizarre Love Triangle was the lead off track or anything, but it also wasn't like some overly long kind of instrumental song, or you know what I mean? It was kind of in between.
Yeah.
And like the Replacements, it was always just like kind of a cool rock song, but it wasn't like the best song by any means on the album. I was just like, okay. So I guess there are ways to cut the difference for sure, but it's probably just specific to every album.
Yeah, so. You don't want to full up on the appetizers,
Yeah,
So you want to get through that meal a little bit before you get to the to the entree. So it's
And even with the better ones, if they do put a single first, it's usually like the second or third single, or it's not like the one that's gonna be the obvious hit or something. You never throw that out there first unless the whole rest of the album's garbage, but.
Yeah, there really is nothing. I mean, it's such a weird dynamic because, like, you put on a CD or put on an album, like you don't want the first song to be terrible because you're just gonna want to not listen to the rest of it.
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh god, like I'm not gonna get into this, and then you just skip, and you just but like you also don't want it to be the best song on the album because people will just, take that one song and throw away the rest.
Yeah.
So,
there's the flip side to that dilemma. If you go with the overly epic, long, pretentious song as your first one, they might not make it past that either, especially if you're not an established band so much where you're willing to be like, oh, okay, they're just feeling out if it's just like totally like some 8-minute long, like whatever the hell. I'm just like,
that shit's the last track, man. You put that on the last track.
Totally. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Well, maybe we should walk through the Cure's
let's do it.
13 lead off track number ones, and I guess there's a little bit of a debate here. First up, we have, of course, Three Imaginary Boys would kick it off with 10:15 Saturday Night, but if you go by the Boys Don't Cry US version,
we're American.
Yeah, so it's kind of a huge difference.
This week has proven anything this last year. America is number one.
Oh, yeah. Still. Yeah.
That's sick.
So, yeah. Boys don't cry, man.
Groan.
So what do you think, what is the... I guess we kind of have a mini example of what we're talking about here, even though 10:15 is hardly a jam long epic setting the mood of the album kind of song, but at the same time it is a little bit more of that, especially looking at that album. It does have like very few lyrics, and it's more of a kind of groove song and stuff, as opposed to coming out blazing with Boys Don't Cry, which
but Boys Don't Cry is the, not at the time, but it would go on to be like their signature song.
Yeah.
So not at the if you're back then, you could say that it was kind of a great decision to put that number one track.
Yeah.
But like now it kind of seems kind of like you're blowing your load too early, and on retrospect I probably wouldn't have put it there. But 10:15 is a great song.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to start the album off, because you're not throwing the number one single up there. You're not throwing the best song that they have at the moment in the first track. So, but it is still a catchy song, and it still gets a good reaction when they play it live.
Yeah.
So.
But a weird opener still, kind of. When
it is a weird opener. Yeah.
Like, all right. Because if you've never seen them before, or you've never heard them, and that was the first thing you hear, that'd be like, all right, Like I said, I'm down with it. But at the same time, I don't think that would be the first thing I ever played for somebody to be like, this is the Cure. Listen to this. So, but,
I've been told that like the Seventh Seal will open if somebody doesn't post a 10:15 Saturday Night joke on Instagram every week.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Probably true.
It is true. I see them every Saturday.
Yeah, it's right there with the Friday ones, I guess. But do you think one works better than like?
I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. With the way they redid the album, probably "Boys Don't Cry" works a lot better.
Yeah.
Just with you're trying to load up the amount, as much as you can on that album to try to get the U.S. appeal to it.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea. But they also trimmed some of the fat off of it.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say, but I mean, if you're going to be like originalist, you kind of have to stick with 10-15. So yeah.
And kind of,
I gave up my debate over that.
Yeah, it's hard to, because "Boys Don't Cry" does work really good as an opener too, even though it is like a single, like we're saying, it does have like a cool. You could start out a set with that really good,
Wow.
And just
can you imagine them starting off the set with that?
I know, now that'd be nuts. They're just like,
that would be such a great idea.
Yeah. I was trying to think of
the save that for last.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the idea too of they had "Killing an Arab." That's a great opener, actually.
That is a great opener.
But I mean, they were still in that kind of Joy Division mode where they weren't putting their singles on the album, so doing that shit. But I mean, you could have put "Killing an Arab," as the lead off track. That would have been a great opener. So
yeah, I mean, there's a number of songs you could use. "Jumping Someone Else's Train" on there as the first overall track, which I'm a favorite too. That's a favorite of mine too. But I think 10-15 is kind of like that perfect song where it's good, but it's not great.
Yeah,
and it kind of leads you into like what they're going for. It's not Meat Hook or Subway Song or anything like that. So
makes sense. Cool, man. Well, moving on to the second album. This one's a little strange too. Do we want to count Reflection? I think it's long enough where you have to kind of count it. But
yeah, I mean, that was a debate in my head too.
Yeah,
man, I don't really want to include it, but it's still a good song. Like it's a good mood setter. It's one of those kind of crawling examples that I talked about where it's not exactly everything you're going to see on the album, but it puts it all in the right place for you to walk into the second song. Yeah. So,
and as it is like shorter, you can tell it's not meant to be. So if it was like a 4-minute instrumental, full version of that, that would be a whole different approach, but so I don't know too, because then it's a little bit of both too, where it is like the mood atmospheric thing, and then going into Play for Today, right, which would be the official version. The US tape is what the debate was. They switched it and put a forest there, but Play for Today is pretty rad if you're gonna do the single thing, So, I
don't like a forest as the first track.
Nah, that would never seem to. Even though, that's how I had the original tape. I must have heard it like that, But I mean, it's still I think one of their best songs, but I putting it. Yeah, even the shorter single, concise version, seems a little overly epic to come out blazing with. You gotta like build up to that, or finale. It just has too much finale feel to it to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird, like looking on it like now, like back in like 40 years later.
Yeah,
and like judging this, but like at the time you're like, is the forest like their, is going to be their top song played live, throughout their career. And it's just, but like even at the time, I'm thinking like if you're putting this album together, you can't go with that.
Yeah,
like that's too over the top for the first track.
Right.
So yeah,
and kind of what we were saying.
Play for Today is perfect.
Yeah, of like younger established bands, you can see why it is more of a dilemma for them at this point. Like which version on which U.S. versus U.K. release, or it is something that is a little bit more of a problem or something to hash out. Once you get like a big enough following, you can put whatever the fuck you want as the first song, and it doesn't matter, But
yeah,
it's like tough.
It's kind of ballsy to go with a reflection for your first track on your second album.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so, pretty cool.
I think it works. So
yeah, and I'd be down for even a more epic version if this new Cure album had, or just any Cure albums had a full-on instrumental song first. I think they could totally pull that off, kind of like Tape with Show and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I think,
Two Ravens.
Yeah, totally, just have some like huge epic instrumental thing, they could totally do that, maybe not like 5 minutes instrumental song or something, but keep it kind of short, something that loops into it the way like Tape does with Open, something like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Maybe down with that.
If Robert wants to do another draft of the new album, maybe he can use that idea. So it's like, yeah, it is a good idea. I'm going to start all over now.
He gets inspired with the uprising of fascism within the United States and then starts writing a whole album about
New album.
Calls it To the Moon, about sending Nazis to the moon.
Yeah. Now talking.
Oh, God.
Moving on to Faith. 40 years this year. We'll be talking about Faith a lot this year. Holy Hour, the song, not to be confused with the podcast. Yeah, it's not my favorite song on Faith, even though we're named after it. It's and not even the most like epically Cure opener, really. I think it. Yeah. I think it works good. I mean, so much of the song is that, just rad bass line and, such a cool groove and stuff, and does kind of set the mood for the album. I guess something to ask for all these as we go through them. It does set the mood.
Faith has got that like half. It could be almost half like a harder edge, like with Holy Hour, and then the half kind of extremely depressing kind of vibe with like the Drowning Man and everything.
Yeah.
But you still do have like the harder songs on it.
Yeah.
It's not really a mood setter though. I mean for the album as a whole. But
yeah.
I think it's a great song, but I don't know if I would put it as the number one. I think it kind of like gives you a false feeling for the album.
True.
So
it might be one that you wouldn't really hook you in as much as a lot of these other ones, So.
Yeah, and that's kind of a tricky situation too with Faith, is because you also don't want to put All Cats Are Great.
Yeah, which one would you put?
Everybody's gonna stop listening to it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and like those are both great songs, but it's like
and we say that by adoring this album, of course, but it's like it is. Yeah, I could see like if you just threw this on for somebody to be like, "What the fuck is this?" Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I guess moving on to Pornography, then I think it does a great job of kicking it off with 100 Years. I think is where they.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of where they start getting the stride better for it, I think, and like it represents the album really well. It's like borderline, catchy enough where it could be a single. I guess debated on whatever on Pornography, but at the same time, it probably is the most reoccurring played song from Pornography. So it's. Definitely. You think?
Probably. I don't know. I'll agree. I'll agree with you right now.
For now, yeah, you could come back to me.
Talk to me next week. I'll give you a different answer.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a great opener. I can't really.
Oh no, it's like absolutely. It's the perfect opener.
Yeah.
For that album. I just don't know if it's my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
Or like my favorite song is Strange Day, but you can't start the album off with that song.
Nah, yeah.
No. Yeah.
That line.
I think we kept those. Didn't we keep? Wasn't that the one album we kept the same?
I think so. I kept Disintegration the same, I know. I think I kept a few of them the same, but this might have been the only one that you had kept the same, I think. But
so I'm talking out of my ass. So
nah, no problem. Donald's not here. Opener. Somebody's got to do it. But I mean, yeah, we haven't even really touched on lyrically on any of these yet. But I mean, just coming out with the first line is always like a cool way to look at an album. Like, what is the first vocals? Even if, like most Cure songs where it might be like 3 minutes in at that point or what. But it doesn't matter if We All Die is like fucking just classic. Awesome first line, it's like all right, we're going here, it's perfect.
Best thing to post on your like AIM away message.
Oh yeah. I think that may have happened a few times in my life.
I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah, so, I hope not. Like, oh boy, Gavin's being dramatic again on his.
He's all listening to sad bastard music again. Passively aggressively Trump wanting attention.
Yeah, exactly.
The only complaint I would have about 100 Years being the opening song is that it's very long.
Yeah.
Especially for what it is as a song. It's very like it's aggressively long.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And then
it's not even the longest song they've done, but it's just like for the sound that it's going for, it's a little too long.
Yeah, and the tone and the song. Yeah, it's just like, all right, man, jeez, just
we get it.
Yeah. I guess moving on, then we get a pretty drastic shift in sound with the top. Of course, knowing true Cure timeline, there's a lot of shit that happens in between this. So. But as far as openers, Shake Dog Shake, again, I think he's got it. He's got the following now a little bit more behind it. So it's like, but I mean, looking at the top, I don't know. How could this song not be the first song, Again, maybe arguably the last song, but the song on the top has to be there, But so you got, all the ones so far. Do you think they could have fit anywhere else on the album?
I don't. This song makes me so angry. I don't even want to discuss it.
Shake Dog Shake?
Yeah, because it's so good, and it's like it doesn't set you up for what the rest of the album is. It's such a tease. It's like if you listen to that first song, you're like, damn, this is gonna be like Pornography. Yeah. Like 2.0, even though you already went through the walk and everything.
Yeah.
But like just like the driving rock and like the lyrics and everything, you're like, whoa! And then all of a sudden it just falls apart. In my opinion, just because I don't like the top, but it's such a like even like I think live is definitely reinforced how I feel about the song.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's one of the best songs I think they play live.
Yeah.
But it lies to you. It's a liar.
It's a little bit of a little tease there. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. It's definitely, although I do like other stuff on the top, it is, definitely the one that would be tough to say, where's the rest of this, So
I could see them putting the Caterpillar, but like that's like your number one single and like probably first or second best song on the album.
Yeah.
So you have a problem there, but like it sets up kind of the way the rest of the album is gonna sound.
Yeah.
I think that's more true to the sound of the album. So I get maybe Dressing Up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Has to be Shake Dog Shake.
The top. Just throw the top on the top.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, maybe later in their career they probably would have put the top first or something, but Wailing Wall first or something. But that drum roll and the it's just like another great vocal intro, to an album, and just like showing we got fancy drums now. It's like, oh shit. Yeah. It's like, what is going on with the drums? So it's like what happened to Lowell, man? He's really just
these actually do sound nice. This is enjoyable.
He's had some time off. So yeah, I guess and then like I said, it is weird with old tapes and records and stuff. You could put it maybe like start of the second side or something. There are other options, I guess, but at the same time, Pretty much has to be there. The next album is the band's breaking through to a wider audience. It does make sense that this would be pretty much the only time, unless you want to count like Boys Don't Cry on the US version and count Play for Today, but technically this is the only one where it's a full-on single, I reckon, which is crazy to think. It's like the only album that opens with a single is Head on the Door with In Between Days. And that one totally...
you could say that some of these other songs should have been singles.
Sure.
But yeah, it's the first single.
And even not in a conventional way, yeah. I think, this is so, like, arguably one of the best, kind of like on par with what we were saying about Boys Don't Cry being first, where it's just such a Cure staple, like the moment it was released, it's pretty much... You knew this was going to be a song that sticks around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, So, I mean, they were going for that approach. You could tell it was like, just come out blazing with this one. Then you can set the mood a bit more and then come back to it and stuff. But interesting and odd that it was like kind of the one where they're breaking through in the U.S. more. So it was kind of a make or break kind of set list more in a way, Because there were moodier ones on Head on the Door. I don't know what would be a contender as an opener or what, but like going with the more format that they would follow later, like the Kiss and Plain Song and all those, or it's like they could have definitely set the stage about a bit more for Head on the Door, I think. But it works great too. So.
6 different ways would be an interesting way to start that album off.
Yeah, that would be good, even though it doesn't really fit the mold of the other ones. But yeah, that's a good poppier, but not.
I mean, it's closer to like Close to Me and In Between Days than like Sinking.
Yeah.
Or even The Blood. Can you imagine starting off with The Blood?
Should be like, wow. Maybe coming after the top, though, it wouldn't have seemed that weird, though. I mean, maybe
probably not. But like I can just imagine like a Die Hard putting it on like in 1985 and being like, "What the fuck is this?"
But maybe somebody that just got into them because of the top would be like, "Fuck yeah, here we go, more cultures."
I love that song. So it's but I think this is the definitive opening track.
Yeah.
To me, like this is the first. I think the first album where first and maybe might be the first and only one where it just kind of like kicked the door in. Yeah. And I know I've said that a lot with that song, but it's so kind of like in your face. Like this is what we are now. And it just like went on from there.
Well, it's one of those. Yeah, like Donald and I did one of the old episodes. I need to re-throw back in the feed there where we did what would you introduce a new Cure fan or a new listener to. And I think our final conclusion was that Head on the Door is like the most accessible album, really. Where you throw this on in this first song, it's pretty much like bam, there it is, and then you hook them with that. Then you could do the weird shit. This is enough that era with the Cure where they really crafted the idea of like you take everything from pornography and all that dark shit and you can work it in, but you got all the hooks and shit too to make it a catchy album. So I mean, there's no denying when you throw on the whole album of Head on the Door, it's like bam, first song is so it
rips.
Yeah, that fucking that roll again. It's great. But I mean, they would never open a live set with it unless it was like a 5-song AOL sessions or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, even like the Head on the Door tour, I'll have to confirm this, but I'm pretty sure they never opened with it. I don't think they ever. I think they're still doing Shake Dog Shake because that's like in Orange and stuff. Is all still sticking with Shake Dog Shake for the most part, or something else probably. But yeah, I mean, it works.
It's a great it's a great mid set song. But I like even that would be opening to like that's like an exciting song to hear. Like just that opening like drum is just like it just sends it. sends the chills down your spine and like
it would work.
Just makes you jump up. So yeah, I would. I'm not opposed to any of these songs being the first track. Totally. So yeah.
So here's where we start to get into the golden era stretch where you start to see more of a format, I think, with Kiss Me. Kiss Me On kind of sets the stage, I think, with the Kiss, and more like just this one's almost weirder because it's so much more badass than anything else on the whole double album, or it's almost weird, or it flows somehow, like all of Kiss Me, somehow all those billion songs do actually fit together. I feel like they're very, cohesive, but at the same time, just listening to this today, and it was like, wow, they're just like destroying it on this huge, super long intro, and like cursing on the first song and shit, it's just like, whoa, all right. But definitely could tell they've got some pull and established at this point,
Yeah, it's I don't like it as an opening song.
Yeah.
It's not my, it doesn't fit. I don't think it fits the album as an opening point.
Do you think it would
I think
fit
it
anywhere
fits
else?
on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere, maybe you could even do like a track like 3 or 4 with that one. I'd be fine with it. But like, it's just,
I
don't know and like you can't do Catch as the first song.
Yeah.
And you can't do Just Like Heaven. So
it's really weird with Catch after it, but I do like that contrast.
That it is weird.
It's like, whoa. It's like, and then it's like, okay. But,
I don't have because when we did Revisionist, I don't think I had the Kiss as the opening track.
Nah.
But I think I might have pulled a B-side or something. But it's not even a favorite song of mine on that album. I've fallen out of. I still love that album, but it's fallen out of my top 5.
Yeah, saw your post saying that maybe it's a little more dependent on Just Like Heaven than we all think. Maybe.
I think so. That and Catch, I think, is the two things holding that album where it is.
Well, how about the classic album Disintegration? It's hard to argue Plain Song, I guess, as we move on to that, is pretty much sets the stage perfectly for Disintegration. Such a beautiful song in general.
Yeah.
Can't really throw that in the middle or after Lullaby. It would be super weird.
Oh, no. Like, that's the only place that song fits is the first song.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any other song that you can put from that album on that first track.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty much untouchable. Yeah. But I love it. We've gone on and on about it, but it's I think it works perfectly as an opener. Like we said, live show too. It's usually that or open or whatever era it was. But at the same time, I think as the band gets further and further along at this point in their career, I think there's always pretty much a 50% chance that'll be the opener when you see them live, I think,
You hope so.
Or this new album comes out, maybe whatever the hell that first song is going to be.
Number 1 track,
So hard to say anything other than praise for Plain Song. Open goes into... Wish kicks it off very cool too, even though hard to say if it's ever like a song I ever just put that song on just to hear. So I kind of feel like it does work great in that regards, where if I'm starting with Open, I'm usually listening to the whole album, or at least trying to listen to the whole album, or as far as I get with it, in that regards. I love the song, but I don't know if I've ever really just put it on specifically as like a single kind of thing, but I kind of wish they had like put a little bit of tape on there, the way
I think that song suffers from that not being accompanied with it, or but the bass on that song is so good. I love the bass on that song, and I think it just it does fit the album as a whole, I think, and I think it's a good representation of what's coming on, because I can't really think of anything else that you would put there.
Sure, that's what I mean. Like when they recorded all those songs, it was like whether that was the first song or the last one, it seems like as soon as they stopped the tape, they pretty much had to have known that was the opening track, It's like,
they could have put Halo as the first track and done like a in between days kind of
true
sound to it. Out. So yeah.
But yeah, that's coming out super poppy. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make the album, so I can't really throw that in there, but
all right, here's a question. Do you think they named it Open before it was decided to be the opening track? Or do you think they knew it was going to be the opening track, so they figured they'd call it Open? Let's call Donald.
It was called, I believe that it was called Open before it was on the album. Now, I don't know about End. I would say that would be more, we got to call this song End.
Yeah.
But yeah, Open, I feel like
Open works for it, whether if it was the first song or not. I guess it does make.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be a middle of the album called Open, but yeah, and definitely not. I think since he doesn't really repeat anything a lot in it, it's like not really anything you could pull from the lyrics that would be the obvious. So I think they had the song call it Open.
It's definitely not a single.
Nah, it's
so you don't have to weigh on that. It's Friday I'm in Love does not go there.
Nah.
Or on the album at all. I'm trying to think what else would go. Letter to Release doesn't really go there either.
Yeah.
So you can't throw a single on the first track.
Yeah, pretty much had to be it. I don't know.
You're not throwing Deep Green Sea. It's no way.
Why not? Yeah, later, Cure could get away with it. I don't even have at their mainstream prime. They would have gotten away with that one, but
Roger doesn't want his first input for the
let's see what this guy's got. Ding, ding, ding.
I hate you guys for bringing that up to me because that's all I hear.
Yeah. It's mixed so well though. Like when you're really listening to the recording, it's like it just goes away after a while. It's like
it used to.
Yeah,
it really used to. And now that once I hear it once, I just hear it through the whole song.
Yeah, and it's just that was all Donald. I totally was immune to it too until he pulled it out. I was like, now it's all I fucking hear. Especially on live versions and stuff though. Like,
oh my god,
it's like
that. Yeah, that live show that they did, the one at the movie theater.
Yeah,
that was so.
One.
Yeah, it was just like, oh my god, he's just playing that one note over and over again.
So moving on, I guess we get into Want, Wild Mood Swings.
Yeah,
this is another pretty loved song, even
great
if people
song.
Don't like Wild Mood Swings very much. I think they usually still stand by this song. I would think. I hope it's such a cool song.
I would think there would be at least 3 to 4 songs maybe you could pull off that album that you legitimately like.
I think this one for me kind of runs the territory more of what you were saying about Shake Dog Shake, where it's a little bit of a tease of like, where's the rest of this, man? Do some more of this. But and I
have some more, mister.
Yeah, and I'll defend Wild Mood Swings at least a little longer than most people, but at the same time, I do wish there was more of this on the album. It's so cool. But again, I feel like this would either have to be the opening track or the closer. You could probably close it with this, but Bear is so much more epic that you'd have to close with that. So, yeah, it just builds up so well. That's a great opener for that, where it just slowly starts to.
I think with this and Shake Dog Shake, I think it's the fact that they had those 2 songs and they have to go somewhere, and it's kind of, you can't really drop it at the end or in the middle, so you just kind of get it out of the way at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is the best song we wrote for the album. Here it is. Just move along with the rest of it.
If you keep blazing out with
yeah
13th or something. That would have been like really weird. Like
I said, Gone or
even just any of the singles. Mint Car even would have been like, whoa, what the fuck?
But I mean, Mint Car's a good song.
Yeah. Totally. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like this one just builds so well too. The way the Kiss did too. I feel like that just like, starts out kind of as like a cool riff, then it's like, it keeps going, and it's just kind of by the end you're just like, all right, yeah, let's get this rock and roll train.
But I feel like that Kiss Me had more of a rock feel on like at least some of the tracks.
Yeah.
To reflect that opening. This one there's in Shake Dog Shake there's like nothing.
Yeah.
To like back that up.
To want
so
this.
Yeah. On Songs on Their Own they're great. It's just they don't show you what's to come, and it's just kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, like we said, they over-adjusted, if anything, for Blood Flowers after getting it to flow. Out of This World kicks off Blood Flowers. Again, I feel like another stellar opening track. Definitely. This one might have been able to go somewhere else on the album, but I think it works great as an opener. It's a little chill compared to a lot of the other ones, as far as just like a super kind of chill lead-off track. Even Plain Song's chill as hell, but at the same time it's so epically layered and stuff that it's not like this like...
It's not this. Yeah, this one's...
yeah, like just kind of eases you in, but
like more than like Shake Dog Shake on the top and Want on Wild Mood Swings. Like this one was even more disappointing because I wanted more of that sound. Of this one, like just because I don't know. Like
and this
it's
one's
just
weird because the songs are there. This has been my gripe with Blood Flowers I'm being redundant, but the fucking Watching Me Fall coming after this, like totally just kicks you in the nut and ruins the whole like flow. I mean, if this had like flowed into like a Last Day of Summer or something, you would have like this super chill, mature Cure. The whole theme of the album is as you get older and kind of appreciate it all more. I love this. I love that that's what the album was him just kind of reflecting back and feeling older, but in like a mature way in a sense. It's not like disintegration reflecting back where I'm getting old, everything's falling apart. It's like this is like kind of taking it all in, and there's so much of it on Blood Flowers that does work, but it's just so like, how the fuck could you go from that vibe into Watching Me Fall? Not even totally knocking it as a song. It's just like, you can't put that fucking thing like second, man. It's like, it just takes
this could be like the last song.
Yeah, totally. It's just like,
how long is that song? Like 13 minutes or something like that?
I don't know. It gets longer every time, but yeah. I think it's up to like 28 minutes in this one. But I mean, it sucks because it really does take away from this song too. I feel like this is one that I do constantly pull out and put on mixes and stuff, and I really like it out of sequence of the album. So I mean, I don't know if that hurts or helps its praise as a opening track, but at the same time I think it's great.
It's a great song. The album, it feels hollow, and it doesn't feel like it has that soul of like depression and anxiety that the albums before had, like like Disintegration. So like that was kind of missing, and we've talked about it to death, but at the same time it's like, if this whole album was this song just like kind of reshaped and spit out, like it would be fine. Like I'd be fine with it. Like I'd like a hell of a lot more. But yeah, this is one of the last good songs I feel like that they wrote. So yeah.
Well, as we go into the next song,
Jesus
everybody
Christ.
knows where I stand on the self-titled album, but Lost, the opening
hate
track.
This song so much.
Arguably the only real like fail as far as an opening track out of all these, in my opinion. I feel like this one falls short of being on par with the opening tracks. I feel like it should have just opened with End of the World. Would have been a cool.
Yep.
Almost like come out with the single. He starts out with the vocals. It would have been a cool opener, But it's like, I get it, what they're trying to do, and it builds. I almost like the song a lot too. Like when I saw it live for the first time, I was into it. But then it's like, when you're listening to it, it just goes nowhere. It just like it keeps going and with the same he's just shooting up in the air and just waiting. It just keeps.
It's
going.
so fucking bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, that's just
and like isn't Labyrinth the next song?
Yeah,
on that, and
again,
that's a 1-2 punch of terrible.
Right.
It's yeah. What's end of the world?
Yeah, the single.
I think that's the best song on that album, and that should have been the single, so we could have just got it over and done with.
Yeah, maybe they feared the old, dilemma with that too. Like, well, we can't just put it first, So, and at this point,
fuck
like you
Ross
said,
Robinson.
They had such a formula going at this point too, But maybe that was more of a reason to break away from it, Like it would have been a little more, classic Robert Smith of shifting directions if they had like not done the epic first song opener, because I think that hurts Lost too, is that it's trying to be like the Kiss and Want, and you know what I mean, and it's not as good of a song, so it's like, I mean,
I remember the first time I heard this, I bought the CD from a used CD store outside Chicago, but it was new. And I put it on driving home, and the first time I was like, this is really bad. And then the next song I was just like, this is even worse.
Oh, man.
And then I got to the third song, and I was like, that's out of End of the World, right? I think that's the third track.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm back on board with this. And then after that, it just all falls apart again. But like, it's such a terrible way to like have to drudge just to get to a good song.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. That's good that you acknowledged it right off the bat. I lied to myself at least for 6 months probably. I was like, this is working. It's good. It's angry, Robert. It's good. It's like watching Phantom Menace or something. I'm like, I don't get it yet, but I will get it at some point. It's gonna. But,
I can just see somebody just like, you just need to admit that it's bad.
Just, like, no, it's impossible. It's the cure. This is not possible. This isn't happening.
You're around friends. You'll get through this. We're here for you.
No.
No, yeah, I was dead against it when I first heard it. I was like, ugh. Oh, and I didn't even know like the whole ins and out of like Ross Robinson or stuff. I was just like,
no bias going into it. And I still feel like if it was shorter, if they just like cut it halfway or something, I don't even know how long it is. It feels really long, but
that song on the album,
the song, but the album too. But I mean, I feel like I like the idea of I can't find myself, and then it's like, girl, if they just like did that in like 3 minutes, cool. But like, it just keeps going and repeating and yelling, and it's just like, oh, all right, man. And then, of course, my argument for the whole album is just this in some other form, of him just building and building and screaming.
That whole I can't find myself just it's making me want to gag right now. It's just such a like, I don't know. It's just like, this has to be a Cure lyric because it's sad and depressing kind of feel to it. Like,
there better be some cool story he should have told about it, or what character. Yeah, it's like, oh, you're fucking Robert Smith. What do you mean you can't find yourself? It's like, you're the coolest dude ever, man. How could you not find yourself? What are you talking about?
Oh my God. Well, maybe he's having dementia or something.
Yeah, man. He just was literally lost somewhere.
Yeah, I literally can't find myself.
So they rebound though. Got to give them that. Not only as an album, as far as opening tracks, definitely closing out the 13th opener.
Home Run.
Underneath the Stars is a beautiful song. Back in action as far as flawless lead-off tracks, and again, maybe the risk of the rest of the songs don't quite punch the way this does, but this is a great song. I feel like everybody loves this one too, whether you hate 413 or not. It's
But I hear people all the time just write off the whole album as a whole.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, that opening track is so fucking good. Like, I don't know how you can deny that at least that song deserves its like own spot in, you know, whatever top list you're gonna make of, you know. It's so layered and like it's got the plain song feel to it. It's got like a shoegazy kick to it. It's like it's got like everything
lyrics, you know.
Absolutely,
and the lyrics are great, but you can't hear them. So, I mean, there's so much to dig into.
We go back and listen to the other episode, but like I think you and I are both on that. There were like at least 4 to 5 songs in this album that were good to decent. Like, yeah. So,
I
think people sleep on this album a little bit too much. There is some dog shit on it, but they're like this, and I like Reasons Why. That's one of my favorite songs on the album. And then wasn't the second song on this album like really good too?
Only One's really good. I'm not quite sure where it is. I think it's probably around 3 or 4. But yeah. I mean, there's some great stuff on there, and Siren song.
I would love for them to play this live, like the opening.
I think that's a good test to all these like later ones. Is like if they came out now and opened, you know, like they did open with Out of This World on a few, and it held up totally fine.
Yeah.
Underneath the Stars would be a fucking awesome opener. I'd totally be into that, you know. Like, but same idea. Like, there's a reason why they don't come out and play Lost, you know? I think they know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, on some level, you know, I feel like...
I'm going to get lost on the way to the bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, all these other ones probably are a contender where it would be like, you know, they came out and opened with a kiss, everybody would lose their shit too, you know? It's like all this, you know, it's pretty...
Except me, I'd be sitting there with my hands, like,
folded. You're like, come on, really? This one?
We used to have this, I don't know if you did, we used to have this term pizza band, where that band played, you went and got pizza.
So I was calling them bathroom break or beer break. Yeah, that's where you go get your beer. You go to the bathroom from your beer.
that would be a pizza break song, kind of. Pizza song.
Yeah. But yeah, Underneath the Stars is great. I think it would be really cool to bring that one back, you know, and
absolutely love that song.
Totally dig it. Yeah, and like you said, too many people kind of dismiss the whole album and not give that song credit. I feel like we said with Want, at least people that bash on Wild Mood Swings will still kind of like say, yeah, Want's pretty good, you know, but the rest is, but yeah.
No, I did something really literal.
Okay.
A couple months ago, and when it was so warm out, I smoked some of the devil's lettuce and went out and laid on the trampoline that we have outside and just looked at the stars and listened to the song.
Awesome. How was
absolutely amazing experience.
Oh, cool.
It's very literal and kind of like, you know, but like that song just like laying there and like listening and looking up and like just, it was absolutely perfect. So
nice.
If you sleep on that album, go listen to that song, do that well, maybe not the mirror one, but each your own. Go out and just like lay in the grass, lay on something, just look up in the sky. It's perfect.
It is, yeah. You know? I actually had a similar thing when I cut out of our mixtape one when we're telling the stories of our lives or whatever, just because it didn't fit on my tape that I made, but really sweet memory of this song was like 2009-ish, I guess. After we got married and we had the party, and it was the wee hours when that party like turned into like fucking madhouse too, where people were just trashed everywhere. It was like Casey had even gone to bed, but I was just hanging out to make sure nobody died or anything. But we were like out in this giant field, and it was like as the mix I had made is like the big tent, you know, wrap up mix, after hours mix or whatever the fuck, and that song, you know, just came on at the end of it there, and it was kind of like I had my moment of like, oh, that was fun, everything went good, and I was just feeling really happy, and that song came on, and it was like all the stars above and everything, and it was very literal, like you said, and like captured it all perfectly, though I felt like it was like some kind of cheesy movie scene, or, you know, Marie Antoinette kind of thing or something. It was like
very, very close to making my mixtape list also.
Nice.
That was one I had to debate over, and then I didn't didn't have the actual CD anywhere, so I was gonna have to burn like the whole album on the CD, and I was just like, it's a little too lazy to do that right now.
So we'll give it a shout out on this episode. And if this comes out before that episode, nobody will know what we're talking about. Stay tuned. Awesome. Cool, man. Well, that's the finale, I guess. A quick, easy question is, if all of these were every song on an album, what do you think would be the ultimate lead off of this batch then? Or maybe we should just do your ranking of them. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do a ranking really
let's
quick.
Do a ranking, yeah.
Let's do that. You want to do best to worst or worst to best?
I was even torn on how to rank because I overanalyze everything apparently. But like, do you do it like just the best song or its power as an opener? You know, like, is it the best like opening song for an album? Because I feel like there's a difference between that and like it just being a great song. You know.
Well, I used a highly scientific algorithm to help,
so again, we both have our different strategies.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you do then?
I just went by song, like favorite song.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of
based from top to bottom. But I also I think it was like a 50-50 of like if I like the song or not, and then if it fits as an opening song.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. I think gray area kind of feel to it. Yeah.
And then as it gets near the middle, I'm like, they're all very like equal to me. So this changed like 28 times in the so
you have to decide now.
I know. I hate when people can't just decide something for the sake of a list, you know? It's like, just pick something, man. Nobody's gonna hold you to it. So I did. I just picked them. So.
One goes off to have a good life, the other one dies in a Nazi concentration camp.
Yeah, I have to choose. No. I choose none of them then.
Then you go.
Take me instead. So you said you want to start from least, or do you want to
let's do least.
Okay, so least, number 13. Lost.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
I think. Although, if this was a whole album, it would not be my closer, or maybe I would put it there just because it would take the longest to get to it. But
you might be burned out by then.
Yeah, so you can't. They don't flow very well as a mix. I wouldn't recommend.
Oh no, absolutely
making
not.
this as a mix.
Yeah.
How about number 12 then?
I actually have a Reflection down.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, just because. Yeah,
it's not much
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really a song. Like, it's not.
Context of the album, it's great, but it's just.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing. Like, the one non-song ranked higher above the one that was actual song.
Totally. Oops. Sorry, Robert.
All right. Number, 11? I have The Kiss.
Okay. I already kind of want to revise it to The Kiss too, but I had 10-15 just because I wasn't really feeling it that day. So
I had 10-15 next.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
10-15 is a weird one where I'm just either in the mood for it or I'm not for whatever reason. I always like it, always love it, but at the same time, there's a lot of other ones. It's more of in the comparison of these other songs that I really love, you know? So it's like, okay. So, I went with 10-15. How about number 10?
I had 10-15 as number 10.
Okay. I had Holy Hour actually as 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is crazy because I love Faith so much, but that song, I kind of like some of these other ones more as like standalone songs.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9. Out of This World, I have as number 9.
I had The Kiss here. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So as much as I like that one, I just love that down. It gets a little old after.
Who doesn't?
But I mean, that's just fucking rad. All right, number 8.
Number 8, I have Open.
Okay, Open. I have Underneath the Stars here, actually.
Okay, all right.
A little lower than yours. We're starting to divert here. I feel like we're closely.
We're getting angry at each other too. I can feel it. I feel the tension bubbling up.
Donald would be like, right. Which one is that? Right
now. I didn't listen to that song.
Donald would be like, I've never heard any of these songs in my life. Like, what?
It's been out for 40 years now.
Come on, man. What are we at? 8 or 7?
Shit.
7, I think. Yeah, what's your 7?
7, I have Shake Dog Shake. Did I already say that? I don't even know where I'm at right now. Yeah, Shake Dog Shake is next.
Okay. I have Out of This World as number 7 for me.
Okay. And then I have Want.
Okay. For number 6, I have Open, which now already seems a little weird. I think I kind of like Out of This World more than Open. I don't know. Open's great. Too much sentimental shit with Open, too. I think that's why it's higher. But yeah, Open. How about number 5?
Number 5, Holy Hour.
I have Want there. So
whoa.
Climbing up the charts.
I didn't think it was going to be that high on your list.
Want? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one before mine, but I didn't think it was going to be in the top 5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next one I have Underneath the Stars.
Oh, this is where I got Shake Dog Shake. So,
oh my God.
I love that Shake Dog Shake.
Oh, shit.
And it's hard to say because live probably is influencing it. I think it just kills so much live that, it's hard to, but it's such a cool, fun song, too.
If I never heard it live, it would probably be towards the end of the list.
Maybe. Hard to say.
I just think that live kind of changed my whole perspective on it. So yeah.
In fact, it would probably kick off in Orange with it even and stuff. But there's so many just great live moments where it's like, yes.
I mean, if you look back then though, like they had like half the catalog, if not less than half the catalog they have now. So.
At the Rock Hall too. How badass was that?
That was pretty fucking awesome. So I'll give them that. So, all right. What do you have next?
Number 3, I have 100 Years. So,
yeah, me too.
Which probably wouldn't have been this high way later, a long time ago. Maybe I feel like this one is creeping up more and more. I don't know, but it is a great song. Like you said, maybe a little too long, but. It doesn't drag ever, but it's a lot.
No, it doesn't. But like you're like, whoa, this song is still going on. Like it's still rad. You know?
Exactly.
It's like a badass roller coaster. You're like, oh my God, there's still 5 more loops left.
So
I would.
3.
Yeah, I think 100 Years would have been. If you would have asked me like 2 years ago, it probably would have been up at number 1 or 2.
What'd you have for 3?
Number 3 was 100 Years.
Okay, cool.
That we're doing. Number 4 was Underneath the Stars. Yeah.
Cool. Matched up.
Yeah, and then what do you have for number 2? This might be contentious right here.
Yeah, this one changed back and forth a million times. So my reasoning was Plain Song for number 2.
Okay.
And just because does such a great job as an opener, I feel like as an individual song, a little less than the last one that is pretty obvious at this point. But I love it. It's I think it does have so many cool parts and lyrics and recording wise. There's just so much that makes it a great song even outside of the album.
Yeah.
Did you go with that one? Or
number 2, I had Plain Song also. I just
nice.
It's not as definitive as what we both have as number 1. That's the only thing that's keeping it from that number 1 spot. It's like
exactly.
It doesn't have Dayglow Faces, and it doesn't have a music video, and it doesn't. It wasn't a single, and it doesn't have any type of pop feel to it. But it's still an amazing song. Like it should be. I think a lot of people are going to disagree and have it as number 1, which I can't argue with. But I mean, if you would have said it was number 1, I would have argued with it. But there's no wrong answer, I don't think. But I think In Between Days is number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because of the song is such an awesome pop song.
Yeah,
not even like I said. That's what threw me off. Like if we're arguing like what would be the ultimate opener live or a mix or whatever, I probably would go with Plain Song because it is more. But like In Between Days is just as a song, it's fucking untouchable. Really, there's nothing wrong with it. It's right there with Just Like Heaven and Boys Don't Cry. It's like you can't argue anything.
Well, let me ask you this: if we included "Boys Don't Cry," would that be in the top 3?
Yeah, that's tougher. Possibly number 1 even, because I
feel
like
okay. I don't think it would be number 1.
Yeah,
I think it
that
might be
drum
number 3.
intro works so much better as a intro. But and he's just so like Little Robert on that, that sometimes I'm not in the mood for it, old school Cure sound, even though the song's perfect. So yeah, it would probably be number 2 though, just because it's such a perfect song too,
Yeah. That's pretty amazing to have another, another opening track, even though that I think out of all of them, that one was the most deliberate to put it number 1.
Yeah.
I think that was like a record company kind of decision.
Yeah.
It's still pretty amazing to have that song would be included in the top 3 that long ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy.
So, yay.
Totally. So yeah, we had some matchup. That was pretty good. I thought there'd be some huge diversions in the road there, but
we
it's
both
hard.
agree that Lost is dog shit.
Yeah.
And
number 1 and number 13 definitely matched.
Yep.
Like I said, like arguably like Want, Open, Out of This World, those are all ones depending on the day, one more than the other, whatever mood I'm going through. But
I don't think any of those songs would be near the top for me, but I think that like In Between the Eights is going to be 1 to 3 depending on my mood. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's in my like top 5 Cure songs just of any genre or topic. I think In Between Days is pretty much there for everyone or a lot of people anyway. It's like
I could even make an argument for Underneath the Stars as number 1. It just the rest of that album is so hit or miss that I can't really. It kind of weighs. Yeah, if that song was like the opening. Yeah, if that was the opening song to like Wish. Or not even Wish, but like even like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, it would probably be at the top of the list. So
it's a little bit like judging the album covers, where as much as you try to be unbiased, you're gonna. It's just impossible to totally pull it out. It's like even Open. I feel like a lot of my love for that is just because it's Wish in that era. That was the first live song I ever saw them play. It's just there's so much there that it's just like. I don't even know if I really love the song that much at this point. Who the hell knows? It's just part of me. It's like a cousin or something. You can't just like, I don't know. I don't have the choice to not love you. You're family. You're part of my life. So,
I was born into you.
Yeah. But it's pretty fun, man. I
enjoyed that.
I think we covered it. Yeah, the opening tracks. I'm very curious to see what approach they take for this new album that's bound to come out this year. How can it not come out? But we're not going to go down that road entirely. But I am eager to see if they, if it's as mopey and dark as they're saying. It's got to be a pretty epic opener along the lines of Underneath the Stars, I would think, or something.
I was gonna say, if anything, I think they're gonna go for that really slowed down aesthetic. Like, I don't think you're gonna get a rock song right out of the gate. At least I kind of hope not. I hope it's really atmospheric and brooding. So, but
I think, what was it? I forget what the number was when he was doing that Gorillaz interview where he said that one song on the album is like 15 minutes long or something.
Watch it be the opening track.
It's the opening track. Yeah, that'd be awesome. It's like, you wanted it. You wanted this album. Don't be fucking griping now that it's too long. So it's like, all right.
You're gonna call me like 3 days after I get the album, and you ask me how I like it, and be like, I haven't even got past the first track yet. It's still playing.
I'll definitely be lying to myself for a while at least. It'd be cool. It would be great if they totally bullshitted everybody with this, and it's like the most ultimate pop album ever, you know, like when it does come out, it's like fucking Why Can't I Be You all the way through or something. That would be great.
You know what really scares me is that they're going to come out and try to be like Imagine Dragons, kind of like,
yeah,
kind of like pop to it, and it's like, oh god, like,
yeah,
you know, I'm a big Goo Goo Dolls fan, and like they did that shit on their last couple albums where they're trying to still be, like I don't even know, relevant.
Yeah.
So they kind of cater their music to what's relevant at the time, and it's just all snooze
I think
fest
the closest they ever got to that was the self-titled. So I think that hopefully that ship has sailed. Considering I can't even tell what the hell relevant pop music would be at this point, I doubt Robert Smith really has his thumb on the pulse of what the Billboard Hot 100 is. I can't tell even what the fuck is a successful pop song anymore.
I think you just got, I mean, in reality, we're just hoping that it's the bands that he booked for that, for the Curation Fest.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. I don't know what goes through people's heads, you know?
Especially his.
Maybe one of his nieces or nephews or whoever's in his family's really into something.
Him these, tapes.
Yeah. But I think we've come into an age where genres are so...
Yeah, it doesn't even
bent
really...
and like out of like there is no genre anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and like as a genreless band as they've been since
they're gonna do the most Cure thing possible. So I think we know
which is what nobody will expect kind of thing.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. But until then, about 100 more episodes to come, I'm sure, before we do that episode. So, hopefully we'll cap this off at the end of the year like we promised, and do a closing tracks 1, 2. So
I like that idea.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Maybe we have Donald with us.
Something to look forward to. Yeah. So we'll all see you there in December. But yeah, until then, yeah, it's the goal. And we'll close it out there. I guess. Thanks so much, Chaz, and
thank you for having me.
We'd love to hear your favorite or least favorite out there. So feel free to chime in as always, and or tell us how badly you disagree with our list and thoughts.
I'm cool with either.
What's that? You're cool with
I said I'm cool. I'm cool with either.
Okay. Yeah, either way. We'll be curious. So, cool, man. Well, you have a good night, and until we talk next time. And everybody out there, keep safe and watch out.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Lock your doors. And keep safe. We'll catch you soon. Talk hard. All right, thanks so much, Chaz, and thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Go on over to the Apple Podcast feed and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Or if you're more of a YouTube kind of person, that's fine too. You can subscribe just as easy over there. And we're going to be trying to toss some of those old episodes. I'm going to dump them back into the feed a little faster pace in this new year and try to just get us all caught up over there. So if you haven't heard some of those early episodes of ours, keep an eye on the bottom of your feed. They should just quietly pop in back there. Let me know if that gets annoying. It should be quietly, but I'm going to try to just dump a whole bunch in there. I'm going to try to stick with some themes, but for the most part, just keep an eye at the bottom of your feed if you're following us along. And if not, follow us on Instagram at the Holy Hour Podcast. I'll post updates on there with all my posts telling you if something new or old is popping into the feed there, so follow that. And Facebook, of course, go check that out for individual episodes. You can check out the threads and any supplemental materials that go along with it. Email me at gavinconnor@gmail.com if you just want to chit chat or have any questions about anything or ideas for episodes. We always love to hear from you, and sometimes it's easier just to write me directly. Again, that's at gavinconnor@gmail.com. And, check out that Patreon thing I talked at the beginning of the episode here about. It's new. We'll see where it goes. Don't want to be one of those podcasts that just go on and on about it. So it should just be something fun that's out there if you're interested. So that's at patreon.com/The Holy Hour Podcast. On top of that, if you need a t-shirt, I know a dude, Mr. Chaz himself. Go on over to 17secondshirts.bigcartel.com and you can see what Chaz has up for pre-order as far as cool original Cure shirts that you're not going to find anywhere else. So go check those out or follow him on Instagram at 17_seconds. And speaking of Chaz, we got a great episode coming up next where Chaz and I get super personal. We make Cure mixtapes that tell the story of our lives. Yes, it's going to be epic. So don't want to miss out. Come get to know us a little better. Until then, take care.